Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you. The songs of the past bring back memories of you. I always remember the first night we met. The songs they were playing, I never will forget. I always will treasure them so close to my heart. They always will haunt me, although we're apart. Each time that I hear them, a tear's bound to fall. For all of those memories that I recall. Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you. The songs of the past bring back memories of you. Forever they will haunt me, but what can I do? Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you.
Yes, dear, they are playing our song.